She won't leave you because you didn't love her. She won't leave you because you weren't there, because you didn't try hard enough, or because you failed to give her your heart. That's not the reason. She'll leave you even if you gave everything, your time, your attention, your loyalty. She'd walk away after the nights you held her through her storms, after the mornings you made her coffee, after the countless reassurances that she was enough. And you'll sit there wondering what went wrong. The truth. It wasn't that you didn't care. It's that you didn't carry one thing. One trait. Certainty. That quiet, immovable energy of a man who doesn't just say he's confident, he lives it. A man who moves through the world like he knows who he is, what he wants, and what he's not willing to compromise. That's the trait, that's the reason. Not looks, not money, not even power. It's the way he makes her feel something she can't explain, safe and intrigued at the same time. Certainty doesn't need to dominate. It doesn't need to raise its voice. It just exists, steady, unshaken. And when a man carries that kind of presence, she feels it in her body. Her instincts respond before her mind can catch up. You could be the sweetest guy she's ever met, and still, she'd drift if she doesn't feel that grounded energy in you. Because love without direction doesn't feel like safety, it feels like floating. And no woman wants to feel like she's leading the emotional direction of the relationship. She wants to lean into something solid, something unmovable, something certain. And when she doesn't find that in you, even if she loves you, she starts searching for it elsewhere, maybe not with words, but with her actions. And by the time you notice, it's already too late. You can do everything by the book. You can remember anniversaries, show up when she needs you, stay faithful, protect her when she's vulnerable, and give her every ounce of your emotional availability, and still lose her. That's the gut punch most men never see coming. You think consistency, kindness, and effort should guarantee loyalty. But they don't, because attraction isn't logical, it's emotional. And emotional desire doesn't respond to checklist behavior. It responds to energy specifically, the kind that says, I know who I am with or without you. That's the currency of masculine presence, certainty. And the problem is, most men don't realize they've lost that edge until they're already deep in emotional quicksand. You start asking questions like, are we okay? Do you still love me? Is something wrong? Not because you're weak, but because you care too much in the wrong way. And that energy, while genuine, creates a dynamic where she feels like she's leading. Not just the conversations, but the emotional tone of the relationship. When she senses you've lost your frame, she starts questioning things. Not consciously at first, but biologically. Her body starts to feel unsettled. Not because you're unkind, but because your energy is no longer a safe place to surrender into. And when a man who radiates certainty enters the picture, she feels that contrast immediately. He doesn't ask how she feels about him, he assumes he's enough. Not with arrogance, but with grounded presence. He's not trying to win her, he's choosing her. And that frame shift is powerful. That's the difference between being appreciated and being desired, between being safe and being unforgettable. And the moment you doubt yourself, the moment your validation becomes dependent on her approval, you give away the very thing that drew her in. You stop being her anchor and start becoming her emotional project. And no woman wants to mother the man she once wanted to follow. Certainty changes everything. It flips the dynamic in ways most men never even notice. One day, you're the one putting in all the effort texting good morning, checking in, planning dates, making sure she feels loved, and suddenly she's pulling away. You think maybe you missed a step, maybe you did something wrong. But what actually happened is this: the power shifted. Not because you stopped loving her, but because you started centering your energy around her approval. And in doing that, you lost the very thing that made you magnetic in the first place. You're grounded. Presence. Certainty is the trait that makes her feel safe and curious. It doesn't chase, it draws. It doesn't flex, it settles. And when she feels that kind of energy in a man, it wakes something up in her, not because he's better looking, not because he has more money, but because he's not emotionally orbiting her world. He's living his life. And now she's the one wondering where she fits in. That's the shift most men never make. Instead of becoming the gravity she can't ignore, they become the support system she slowly disconnects from. Because no woman wants to feel like she's the center of your identity. She wants to feel like she's part of something strong, something steady, your mission, your direction, your standard. When you have that certainty, you don't need to prove anything. She senses your value without you saying a word. And in that energy, she leans in. She second-guesses herself. She gets nervous in the best way. Not because she fears you, but because she respects what you represent, something rare, something centered. And when that feeling hits, she stops looking for better and starts wondering if she's enough for you. That's the moment she stops leading and starts chasing. She won't obsess over the guy who gave her everything. She obsesses over the one who didn't chase, the one who didn't beg, the one who walked away without explanation, calm, composed, and unshaken. That silence, that space, it echoes. It lingers in her mind long after you're gone, because now she's left with questions. And questions are what create obsession. She starts to wonder, did I lose something rare? Why didn't he fight for me? Why does his absence feel louder than his presence ever did? You see, men think effort keeps a woman, but effort without presence just feels like noise. It doesn't spark desire, it dulls it. You could send flowers, write long messages, and pour your heart out, but if she doesn't feel that grounded masculine energy behind your words, they fall flat. Women aren't drawn to over-availability, they're drawn to mystery. Not because they want to be confused, but because they want to feel. And they feel most alive when they're around a man whose energy doesn't depend on theirs. Certainty doesn't argue, it doesn't defend, it doesn't convince. It lets go with grace. And in that space she feels the weight of what she lost. The emotional gap between you and the next man becomes glaring. Because while he might give her attention, he doesn't carry that same depth. He doesn't command the room with silence. He doesn't hold frame when challenged. That's the man who haunts her thoughts, not because he tried to be unforgettable, but because he didn't need to be remembered. His absence became the proof of his strength. That's what rewires her. Not the man who stuck around pleading for closure, but the one who knew his value so deeply he didn't need her permission to move on. That's what stays with her. Long after she walks away, when she pulls away, goes quiet, becomes distant. It's not random, it's a test. A deep, instinctual scan for strength. She wants to see what you'll do when she stops giving you the comfort of certainty. Will you beg? Will you chase? Will you spiral? Or will you lean back, stay grounded, and let her come to you? That moment defines everything. Because if you crumble when she withdraws, you reveal that your emotional state was built around her presence, not your own foundation. But if you remain calm, if your energy stays centered, she starts to question everything. Not you, but herself. Did I misjudge him? Did I just walk away from a man who doesn't need me? That stillness, that unwavering energy creates gravity. It makes her feel something she didn't expect out. Not because you played a game, but because you stopped playing hers, you stopped performing, you stopped adapting to her emotional weather. And in that moment, she realizes you're not like the others. You don't chase, you choose. You don't plead, you lead. You don't collapse, you command. Certainty isn't loud or aggressive. It's steady, rooted, intentional. It's the quiet confidence of a man who knows that love is not a transaction, it's a reflection of alignment. You don't need to be perfect, you need to be clear. Clear in your boundaries, clear in your direction, clear in what you will and will not tolerate. And when you hold that frame, she feels it. She respects it. She surrenders to it not because you forced her, but because you gave her something no one else did. The experience of a man who doesn't fold. That's what lingers in her mind. Not your words, not your gifts, but your unwavering presence. Because in a world full of men trying to prove their worth, you become unforgettable simply by knowing yours.